if it's okay, there we go. All right, welcome to Legendary Lens podcast. It took a second to start recording.
Energy, dude. Weird.
I had to burn all my energy this weekend watching TSM play. Took a lot. But hang on, before we talk about LCS, I want to touch on EU real quick. We're not to talk about it in detail at all, but
this is where I check out.
Both Fnatic and G2 lost series this weekend, and Fnatic got eliminated.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
What other teams even are there in the region?
There's Schalke, Mad Lions, and Rogue. Schalke knocked out Fnatic. They then went to lose to Rogue and get knocked out. And G2 got put down into losers by Mad Lions. And it did not look good for G2. I watched that series, and I was just standing there with my jaw on the floor like, damn, Perks was so much more valuable to this team than I initially thought.
Yeah, he's the one who keeps their mental going. It's very important.
Their mental, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Anyhow.
I don't know. I was watching this series and I was having a great time watching EU just lose their old guard dying in front of them. It's like I feel like it's that South Park thing where it's like stop, they're already dead. But oh my god, it's so mean. I hope that G2 loses. I'm looking forward to it.
Also, turns out you teach Broken Blade some fundamentals about how to actually play his lane in top lane.
He's good. Wait. He was really good on TSM. He was the best part of that team.
Yeah, but
he's not on TSM anymore.
Matt.
No.
I'm fucking.
No.
What if I actually didn't know?
I'd be obscenely shocked considering we've been talking about Hooning on TSM for the last 4 months.
That would be very funny though if I literally just didn't realize.
Wait a minute, he's gone.
I thought we were talking about SKT, dude. Fuck.
Bro, that was 6 years ago.
Yeah, dude, I'm 6 years behind, bro.
Hooning was on XKT in 2015.
SKT, not XKT.
Wait, was it? Oh wait, no, it was 2017. Shit, that was 4 years ago.
Still cringe that I'm 4 years behind.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into this past weekend for North America.
Let's talk about the results from this weekend. Now, I am sad to say that Dion could not join us this evening, but I, for one, think it's his fear for getting his predictions wrong. He was this close to the perfect prediction, but he had to call 100 Thieves over TSM. That's a sad one there, Dion. It's a sad one.
Yeah.
Now, Haymant, you got them both right, but just barely. Just barely.
A little bit off. That's all.
Me and Matt traded on our perfect calls. He got TSM and I got C9. We had our faith misplaced a little bit. We should have believed in ourselves a little more. Believed in our boys.
Both 3-1s, huh?
Yeah.
No, I called it 3-2 for C9.
No.
I
but
called
the
it 3-1 for TSM.
Right.
But the actual series result.
Oh, blue is the most correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not intuitive at all. I
don't think the other way would be any more intuitive, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, green is the most correct you can be, dude. Very weird.
The green's just the different one for the different thing. But
you're just cringe.
I digress.
You're actually cringe.
I digress. Let's jump right into talking about C9 versus Team Liquid and why the goddamn why are they picking Ahri? I am tired of this stupid ass Ahri pick. It's so useless.
Jensen likes it. The Jat likes it. I don't know. TL like it.
Somebody likes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or none of them like it, but they all think the other person does and are trying to be nice.
Look, Core JJ is just sitting there like, not this shit again.
I know that Ahri is like virtually useless like all the time. She doesn't have a lot of burst. She doesn't have a lot of CC. She doesn't have a lot of, well, okay. The one she does have a good bit of is mobility. But guess what? When you don't have a lot of damage or CC, your mobility ain't worth shit. This post made by Udyr Gang.
Weird.
I don't know what they were doing. Cloud9 are really into these combo picks with Nidalee. They picked they pick an aggro mid laner and Renekton and then combo it with Nidalee a lot. Like I think they got Sylas or Lucian every game mid lane. Oh no, they got Ryze in game 3, but that was actually pretty decent for them. I'm not going to lie. In game 1 though, they give over Hecarim, Seraphine, and Urgot, and they pick up Renekton, Nidalee, and Sylas. I think this is entirely like on Team Liquid's awful bans. They banned out Tristana, Lucian, and Kai'Sa. So they banned out 3 AD carries and 2 mid laners. But for some reason, they don't pick up an AD carrier or mid laner in their first rotation. Okay, they picked up Seraphine. I don't know why you blind pick Seraphine here.
For fun.
Only way you think about it is that, hey, we're gonna make it a late game, and this is the pick that's gonna help us just survive in there.
But Sylas has been a common counter pick to Seraphine, like all the time. And his laning against her is fine. His mid game in general is pretty good. And he already has a Hecarim ult and a Seraphine ult, like in the first 2 fucking picks. I'm just salivating with those 2 alone. And then they follow up with a fucking Urgot ult on top of that. Oh my god, I am loving my life as a Sylas player right now. Every team fight, I just rip that fucking Seraphine ult, and it's just a free fight. It's like, haha, we both ult each other. Just,
yeah.
Mine does 3 times more damage. It's just, it's so disrespectful to play like this, and like they do this every fucking draft. They go Hecarim, Seraphine. They do it again in game 2, and I'm like, why? These champions should not have this much prio right now. You've already chucked into what appears to be C9's ideal mid-game stomp comp. Like I don't get it. It took them 33 minutes to end this game, and I think this is one of the longer games this series. But like, their mid game is crazy compared to Team Liquid's. Team Liquid's running fucking Ahri. Ahri's mid game is like awful. Her entire everything about Ahri's lane gameplay is awful. Her scaling is awful. Her early game is really meh. Her mid game is really meh. If you're not ahead by 1 billion gold, you're worthless.
It's very much a win harder champion.
It's not a win harder champion. It's just that, like, she's a really low range pick champ that requires another champion to be there to get the kill. The only champions that she can kill are very squishy. So AD carries, enchanters, and mages.
Basically, if the enemy team picks like, oh, let's say Aphelios, like that's fine.
When's she getting on Aphelios? Why is it like Aphelios is gonna have a Braum and or Alistar or a Rel next to him the entire time?
She's got enough mobility to do it, but that's an example of one champion that has a low enough health pool that you could burst him.
I don't know. Like you just don't pick this into Sylas. Sylas is an anti-mage, though not in the sense that he's anti-mage, in that he takes your power and uses it against you. And just giving him 3 dashes to use in his combo sounds like suicide.
Oh, did you want to give? That would be 6 dashes in his kit. That's it. Just straight up. That sounds painful.
Like, I don't... Like, I get... Okay, look. I would not want to have to take Ahri Ultimate if I can choose otherwise on Sylas. But, like, as an Ahri, his ult's always going to be better than mine. He just has a better combo that just gets free damage. Like, it doesn't seem like it's worth it to pick up Ahri instead of a better bot lane here. I just why? I don't get it. I still really, really hate this Ahri pick and Jensen liking it at all. Anytime that I see Ahri picked in LCS, I'm just gonna have a fucking conniption. It's just, it never does well. It never does anything.
Hopefully in the next series they pivot off of it.
Hopefully.
All right.
Is game 2 the one? Yeah, game 2 is the one Team Liquid wins. So Haymont, walk us through this champ select real quick.
Oh, let me bring it up.
Oh, God. Okay.
Well, tell me about it.
All right. So, Team Liquid, continuing with the banning Lucian, absolutely disagree with this. They banned Tristana, Lucian, and Olaf. I like the Olaf ban because then they first pick Hecarim. And C9 banned Renekton, so they don't have to worry about that. C9 also banned Gnar, which makes me question why you would ban both of those champions. Like, banning one of them on red side would kind of make sense, because then you can pick the other. Like, normally you'd want to ban Renekton and pick Gnar, because I think TSM end up doing that the next day. Yeah. They end up doing that. Everyone ends up doing that a lot. No, TSM just do it strictly. Oh my god, I can't believe that happens.
I think it's more of an Alphari specific one, because his Gnar can be crazy at times. You just don't want to deal with it. So just get Alphari off of it.
Yeah, but why? Okay, fine. I guess Fudge is... if I'm going to say a top player in the LCS should pick an aggro champion against Gnar to kill him, it's not going to be Fudge. I'm not going to suggest Fudge play the aggro.
Been doing better lately. I'll give him like a little bit of a chance, but it's like also you don't want him playing Renekton into like Alphari. I don't know. I just don't think it's like a good matchup. I think he just takes Gangplank and goes like, oh, I don't care how aggro you are. I'll just take it and turn it around later on in the game.
Well, it ends up not mattering, because what they do is they kind of concede top lane and put Fudge on Sion, which may or may not be their downfall, but Alphari is really, really good at playing side lane. The GP got super fed and just sort of plowed through side lanes over and over and over again. So it just didn't really matter what Cloud9 did. Fed GP is just crazy. And then on top of that, they have a really long range, easy follow-up team comp with the Senna Tahm Kench. They have Seraphine in general is just a pretty good pick, some pretty good wave clear, pretty good pick. And then they have a Hecarim who can just kind of stand in between two lanes and just run over to whichever one instantly as soon as something happens, and he doesn't even need to do anything. So much global on this team. Even as Seraphine is kind of immobile, she has pretty good move speed. So I actually really like this team comp. I feel like it has good macro pressure against Cloud9's comp, which is really skirmish heavy. And when you have a lot of macro pressure across the map, you can dodge skirmishes and just sort of concede and trade objectives to get a better objective overall. Because presumably with this pressure, you have priority.
Yeah, and there's so much setup that you have. It's a GP ult straight into a Hecarim Seraphine ultimate. It's really easy to pull off.
I don't even think it's like a press R comp. I think this is more like like I feel like the R's are safety. Like as soon as you find the enemy team trying to engage on you, you use your ultimates to stifle their engage. And you can bait out with Hecarim and Fish because he can ult out. Seraphine has good follow-up for anyone getting caught. That's a quick escape. You got the Mist, you got a Tahm Kench. It's really safe. And a good GP can basically never get caught in a side lane, especially if you have your jungler and your support or mid laner helping you ward out for rotations. Like that's the biggest thing, is being able to spot out them rotating over to you on a split push.
And also, you have people who can almost instantly get over there.
Yeah.
Like you pointed out before.
Now, what I want to know with this goddamn Cloud9 comp is why the fuck are we matching junglers in red 1-2? Or I'm sorry, red 1. Like why are you matching junglers there instead of getting Rel Kai'Sa? It is such a massive risk to not go Rel Kai'Sa. And then they still go for Kalista last pick. They last pick Kalista over Kai'Sa. Why the hell would you last pick Kalista against a macro really strong team fight comp? Like, it was insane. Now, I will say this game came down to basically one team fight at like 17:30, where Seraphine lands a 4-man ultimate and Senna chunks out 3 people and kills them. It was, that fight was insane.
It's yeah, the only reason you take the Kalista is for your early pressure that you get. Early Drake stacking, just early laning phase. Supposed to give you advantage, especially over well, TK who's tanky. Senna is like so-so.
Well, that's the thing, is because they'd have a pretty decent team fight if they went with Kai'Sa, but instead they have Kalista, who, while she does have a good team fight, is about lane priority, and you don't have lane priority with the Tahm Kench against you, because Tahm Kench can just eat your target as soon as you're ready for the engage. So now you're forced to split your Ren stacks, and Tahm Kench is also making space for their carry. Their carry is Senna. Senna is just making space for herself. So there's not really any reason to not like, I don't know. I feel like Kai'Sa is so much better here, because Kai'Sa's got percent HP damage, and Tahm Kench is a percent HP champion. Like, you can just pop him. Like, I don't get it. I seriously question C9's drafting here, and their strange priority to not take their bot lane round 1. That's happening a lot right now, and I feel like it's a massive mistake, especially when it's Rel Kai'Sa. Like, I just someone gets nerfed in the next patch. I think it's Rel in 11.6, because they're on 11.5, which I think changes a lot. Also, there's what's his name, Volibear, which changed a lot. Which that alone is why I'm sad that we're not on 11.6, because I want to see Volibear jungle happen. Volibear does solo objectives like crazy, because he does 750 damage with his E.
That's too much damage.
It's a lot of damage, and I'm here for it. I think the level now is QE on Volibear. So his like level 13, he has absolute control on neutrals, unless you have like a Cho'Gath. Or
That's
a
kind
Jinx.
of ridiculous.
Or a Jinx. Ooh. Alright. Let's talk about game 3. Haymant, do you want to take us through this one?
No. Once again, tell me what's going on.
Though.
But do it though. Why do I keep on getting these pop quizzes? Come on. I'm not in university anymore. All right. What happened game 3? Tell me a little bit about the champ select.
All right. Well, Cloud9 went back to blue side because they lost, and apparently this patch is, or at least this meta is blue side prio, because it was happening in EU too, where everybody wants blue side for I have no idea why, but I guess counter picking last pick is awful. Team Liquid kind of absolutely chucked this draft.
Seems to be a pattern.
So Team Liquid picked a super low range comp. They matched jungle pick round 1 picks on red side again. I don't know why we do this, but we do it anyways. So stupid. They picked a super low range comp into Ryze, Jinx, Thresh.
Oh,
How could that go wrong?
I don't know, Matt. Have you ever tried to play a low range comp against Jinx and Thresh?
No.
Have you ever tried to play Jinx and Thresh against a low range comp, and have I been playing the Jinx? And has it gone well for the enemy team?
I'm better than you at Jinx.
Bullshit, I can
But-
right click like anybody else.
No, I can right click faster.
That has nothing to do with last hitting, but okay.
I'm an elite gamer, dude.
Sounds very punishing. Also, sounds like you don't get in very much.
I don't like you. You have no way to access this comp. On top of that, there's a fucking Rise. So while you're trying to dive the fucking Jinx through Hecarim, through Scion, through Thresh, the Rise gets to pound you too. And it happens so many times.
Huh.
Like the only way you win is by killing the 2 carries on repeat, and that wasn't gonna fucking happen this game.
Just easy front to back team fighting.
I think I was definitely happy seeing Fudge on Scion. He looks he's so much more useful on Scion than he was on Renekton. Like, look, I'm not saying Alfari played the Urgot great, but the Renekton was I don't know. It's just Renekton should not have been that far. He should have been further ahead, is what I'm saying. With how big a lead C9 had game 1, but God damn it! What game? There we are. It's such a bad comp, and Volibear top lane is so bad. It is awful. It does nothing. It's really useless. You have to play Bruiser as a top laner, otherwise you're actually just a sitting duck. I think tank Volibear is only viable in the jungle, patch 11.6 and on, because of his objective control. So, him top lane is just completely pointless.
I've seen the only counterpoint I want to bring to that is that if you see like if you see like Whippo locking a Volibear, you know he's gonna rock whoever he's against. But this is only like a specific Whippo case.
Well, when I play Volibear top lane, I normally go for Doran's Ring. Okay, it depends on the matchup in general, but I'll often go Doran's Ring, and I'll go for maybe Emax, because then you're going for hyper wave clear. I do this against ranged champions all the time, and they have no idea what the fuck's going on, because I'm just clearing the wave from range, and then I'm dueling them on top of the E, and they're expecting the E to give me a shield, but they're not expecting the E to do 400 damage. So the E does 400 damage. I have probably steel caps and oh fuck, I haven't actually played a lot of Volibear on the new items. I have steel caps and
probably the first part of a Thornmail if you're into a ranged matchup. And at that point,
depends on what's going on.
I'd say at that point you'd still do pretty well, even just not sitting on those 2 items versus a ranged matchup.
I just don't like Thornmail on Volibear. I'd rather get Deadman's Plate. I'd probably be trying to rush either Deadman's Plate or Stridebreaker, because Stridebreaker is just broken. Like, imagine the gap close. I put the E behind them, I Q at them, Stridebreaker on top of them, they flash, land in the E, I follow up with the Q.
And I think even if you're going like tank volley, even like just getting that first part of the Thornmail, I feel like that's just a major break point if you're against a ranged matchup, and you can probably just kill them.
Tank volley is just, it's so useless. Like, look at this comp. You're gonna have to go through so much to get on top of Jinx. You're basically saying, okay, me and Udyr are gonna dogpile on Jinx as hard as possible with Nautilus ult on top. And you're gonna just hope it lands. But the odds that it lands are super low. Because it doesn't matter that 3 champions just basically sacrifice their time in a team fight to go for Jinx. Because the Rise just killed your AD carry and your mid laner with a Scion and a Hecarim.
Yeah, and also Thresh is, there. He exists. He has good
Thresh
feel.
is so good. Thresh just needs to take care of one of them. And to be honest, I would choose the Udyr, because the Udyr actually has more burst than full tank volley.
That, or even if he's like playing like slightly back, if he's just on top of the Jinx, if he backs up a little bit, throws out a lantern, poof.
Matt, when you play AD carry, who would you be more scared of running at you, Udyr or Volibear?
In which patch?
I don't think there's a change in which one running at you in either of the patches.
Yeah, and Volibear can pound my asshole in one shot, it's him. But it's usually, honestly, it's usually Volley, because Volley can just like fucking chase me down and slow me, and if Udyr doesn't have fucking stun, then I literally don't give a fuck what he does. Why?
I'm actually, I'd be more scared of the Udyr because the Volibear, he's just a sitting duck, and his damage is based on percent total health, or not
Yeah, but
percent
he has
max health.
perma CC.
He's not perma CC. He's got one stun.
He's got
And a
one
slow.
stun. He's got the ultimate. He's
Udyr's
got
got
the
slow.
one stun and a dot.
And a tower dive. At level 6, like a guaranteed dive.
yeah.
I would never try to stand around for that dive. You're just gonna die. I don't know. I feel like people overestimate how powerful the Udyr ult is, but at the same time, people just absolutely forget it exists and turns off turrets. That you just catch people sleeping so often with it.
I'd feel like, oh man, it's great in the mid game. It's great to just surprise people and just pop out of nowhere and just be like, hey, we can just keep on going.
It seems super useless in pro play, to be honest, because you would normally want to consider that, and you're just like, oh, we can't stand under this turret because Volibear can just flank us and turn it off.
Mhm.
So you'd rather just back up to the next turret and concede it than lose four or three people trying to defend it and through the Volibear ultimate.
All right, well, that's a lot of volley talk we've been having, huh?
Well, it's a big fucking fuck up in their fucking comp, man. It's the biggest fuck up in this comp. Like, the low range isn't even an issue if they have a better top laner, because you just need more engage. If you put fucking Ornn in this comp, man, who cares how low your range is when you can just ult on top of Jinx and then you just follow up with what's his name, Nautilus. Jinx doesn't get the fight for 8 seconds. And you get Kalista to just stack on their front line. You don't have to do anything. The Thresh is useless. Instead, they pick Volibear, who Thresh can manhandle for like 7 seconds. And don't get me started on the box, man. The fucking box. Alright. So, then we move on to game 4, where Team Liquid's back onto blue side. And... hang on, let me just look at this draft real quick. They definitely improved this draft because they got rid of the goddamn fucking Lucian pick, but then you get to see kind of why they were banning it, because Cloud9 are running Lucian Italy. So this is what they love running. They love doing this all the time. But to me, both of these comps look pretty even, because it looks like Cloud9 kind of took a step back on the AD carry front in terms of last game. And the only problem I have with TL's comp is Tahm Kench. Like, I just don't like Tahm Kench here. I also don't like the Ezreal ban. The Ezreal ban seems just fucking stupid. Because Kai'Sa's up. Like, why aren't we playing Kai'Sa here? That's like, I don't get it. What is it with the missing prio on Kai'Sa?
She get nerfed or something?
She did get nerfed, but people have been picking her through those nerfs constantly. The next series, she's another like weirdly contested pick. Like, I don't get it why her priority has fallen so hard. I guess somebody's gotta have found a counter that they're willing to whip out against it or something. Oh, right, Nocturne. Wait, no, it's not Nocturne. Nocturne's for Tristana.
Yeah, Nocturne's kind of the like, oh, if you're running
That's
a
next
2 carry
series.
comp, yeah, that's a better one. Talk about it with. You have the Tahm Kench. It's supposed to keep the Jinx safe.
And it can, but like the problem is that in C9 get an advantage in both solo lanes, and that's an advantage with Sion versus Renekton. Like, how the fuck did that happen? How do you not have advantages Renekton into Sion?
Yep. You should be able to, especially with a Udyr paired as your jungler, you should be able to take him down like a decent amount of times.
Well, you're not supposed to kill him. You're supposed to play through mid lane for like neutral objective pressure. so you kind of go camp Lucian a little bit, but Lucian got a lot of support. I think there was an early trade of kills mid lane this game. I don't remember. It's just...
I remember seeing C9 just layering a ton of CC at a time during like the mid game, and then Blabber just immediately nail a spear afterwards.
Yeah, Nidalee Spear's been crazy. My notes say that TL just got outscaled, and if the game lasted 10 more minutes, they could have had a shot. Which, like, just looking at the comps, it makes a whole lot of sense. Jinx, Lucian, Ashe, Lucian, Nidalee, and Braum. That's a pretty good mid game. That's a really strong mid game, and then a Scion on top just to be frontline. That's just really decent. All right, let's talk about our next series, TSM versus 100 Thieves. My favorite series of this weekend. Sometimes, maybe just a little. Okay.
Sometimes,
let's just get through this.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Before we actually fully finish this United Club, Perks has passed 100 deaths. He is at 104 deaths in NA so far. Racking up those numbers. Loving it.
Let's get that to 404 so the man can disappear.
That's gonna take like 4 or 3 more splits, man.
I believe in you,
Not
Perks.
if he ramps it up.
Matt, would you like him to ramp it up? Because I'd love to see that happen. I'll take 20 deaths in the TSM series, 100%.
Yeah, 20 deaths, but we still catch the W though. So weird.
That would be effing hilarious to watch Perks die like 10 times a game, but they still somehow fucking he just plays Yasuo every time and goes gets the power spike.
In a literal 4v5.
Literal 4v5. Hey, 3v5. Don't you forget about Fudge. You know, hang on. Okay, I gotta get back to the C9 series one more time. People were talking about how great Fudge looked this series and how he's really become a great carry player, and I'm sitting here like, he played Scion 3 times this series, you fucking idiots.
Scion is the Omega carry though.
Guys, you can't watch this series and then be like, yeah, he's a great carry player after he plays Scion for 75% of the games. Dude, come on.
Ion is peak carry. He is what you call PC.
All right. On to the TSM versus 100 Thieves. Oh my fucking god. So Haymant, can you just spot what's wrong with these next 3 champions I'm about to name off? Lilia, Jace, Lucian. What's wrong with that? Why would one team pick all 3 of those champions?
It's because it's the late game. It's the late early. It is the, as we would call it, eat. I'm trying to combine these words in a better fashion.
It's like the brunch of champions.
It's like, oh, we couldn't settle for... Yeah, you're right. We couldn't settle for breakfast or lunch, so we decided to mash them together. That's what happened.
It's the brunch of champions. Oh my...
Yeah.
Forget the breakfast of champions. We got the brunch of champions. Oh
except definitely not as good as brunch.
Oh my god. So they gave Ryoma fucking Lucian.
Something he's famous for.
Fucking Lucian? Oh my god. This is what we do, guys. We drop Demonte to get Ryoma to play fucking Lucian.
Don't you know it's the famous champion that he's played the entire LCS? You know, that's it. It's what people have just loved him on it.
But then they gave fucking PoE Orianna.
Yes.
Like, I don't understand what they're doing here. I don't know why you ban out fucking Hecarim and Udyr and then give over, like, the enemy team just ends up picking up fucking Nidalee. Like, oh my god. And you picked Lilia. Like, what the hell are we doing? You ban 2 prio junglers and then you pick a B tier jungler. Like, I don't get it. Well, hang on. I'm gonna go look this up. What the fuck is Lilia's win rate been? Because it's got to be awful. I've been watching this champion, and it's been awful. I cannot find this champion. There it is. There's 2 L's in this? Are you kidding me? Why are there 2 L's in Lilia?
Pronunciation-wise, does make sense.
Okay. So on this patch, she has a 41% win rate. And in playoffs, Proving Grounds. Here we go. MSI. Or sorry, the MSS. She has 3 wins and 5 losses. She has 2 of her wins are with Blabber, and 1 of them is with Svenskeren. Who did Sven play it against? Oh, he played it against TSM against Udyr. Yeah, honestly, Udyr is one of the matchups I think that Lilia is good against, but not if you lose to it 3 out of 4 times, Sven. Just saying.
Yeah, I guess I kind of see like a little line here where you pick like an early game top laner, pair it with Lilia. It's kind of supposed to get you the same effect that Nidalee would, but it's just Jace isn't it. It just doesn't feel like it. Unfortunately, they banned out the Renekton. TSM did, or else you probably would have been able to pick that. And some days it's just crazy on Renekton. It would have definitely gotten them a much better early game, but I don't know. There's not really another jungler to pair it with. I mean, another top laner to pair it with after that.
Well,
but
Jace is supposed to be a counterpick to Gnar, but
wait, run that. Explain that.
How Jace counters Gnar?
Yeah.
They're both ranged, so Gnar has less harass on Jace, and Jace has better poke on Gnar than Gnar's used to.
And also a better all-in.
Supposed to be played raw melee.
Hey Matt, have you ever watched me play Jace?
I've never seen anything because I'm not a narc.
Jace is not supposed to be raw melee. For anybody who's confused, Jace is meant to be played basically
Why would
half
anyone
and
be
half.
confused by what I just said, dude? I'm trolling, dude.
So yeah, you just land your full combo and you get an all-in. You get him to blow the E on your Q, and it sometimes you can get a timing to interrupt it with your Oni and get dummy damage. You can even initiate with your Q, get the Q damage off, and then just turn into your ranged form and just murder his ass. It's a pretty good counter pick, and in game 1 it kind of works. Someday does end up with a lead, and then they take Herald and drop it down bot lane for Ashe.
Ooh.
So
Kind of weird.
you
Kind of weird.
have a counter pick top lane. You win the counter pick, and then you go donate some gold to Ashe, and you don't. I don't understand why they didn't posture to put it top lane. They do this 3 times, by the way. Or like even to Lucian would have been a better choice, because Lucian also has a really good mid lane for objective control. But like what are we doing here? Like why are we picking Lilia? Why are we picking Jace if then we don't play to pressure topside properly? Like they were doing it pretty good at the beginning. They had really good pressure in topside, and then they end up fucking it up with this fucking Herald. And as soon as okay. So the Heart of Thieves seem to normally have a better early game. They seem to be able to get better dragon control. But here's the problem, is TSM were letting them take all of that. They were letting them have all that control, and they were trying to trade for side pressure. And they traded that those early Drakes for the side pressure so that they could get Baron. They got first Baron 4 out of 4 games, I think. They got a pre-25-minute Baron 4 out of 4 games, basically uncontested. Okay. One of them, they stole the Baron.
Yeah.
But my point stands. They were very focused on playing for Baron, and I think that's the right move most of the time. Because the only time they lost was when 100 Thieves got the miracle combo of Udyr plus Cloud Soul. Now, for those of you who don't know, Cloud Soul procs on every single ability Udyr has. Like actually, he just gets a bajillion move speed. It's kind of ridiculous.
So he's literally Rumen. There's nothing to stop this.
I don't know who Rumen is, but yes, he is actually
Vrooman, I think.
Rumen.
Oh, Vrooman.
Vroom. That's like car Rumen.
Yes, vroom vroom. So there's this one play in River. He comes from like somebody on TSM is coming from Tribrush, and they make it like halfway through River to get over the wall, as Udyr comes from mid lane all the way down to bot lane brush and just slaps him in like 5 seconds. He was so goddamn fast. I couldn't believe that he was actually gonna catch this kill. I was losing my mind as soon as I saw they got this fucking soul. What game did they win? Did they win game 2? No, they won game 3.
No, game 3.
But that's the only way they could win. So TSM recognized that their strengths against 100 Thieves was their heavily better team fighting. Like, they out team fought them 80% of the fights. Like, there was no shot that 100 Thieves win a fight that TSM has any sort of setup for. If TSM know a fight's about to happen, TSM are gonna win every time, and it wasn't even close. Like, you remember how many fights would just be like they pick off someone from TSM and they kill them, they get an objective, and then TSM come right back after the objective and just wipe them. Like, that happened several times this series.
It shouldn't, but it does. I also feel like Baron is pretty much, well, game 1's definitely the weakness. Game 2, also weakness.
They used it to like gouge out gold leads in the mid game, and it was a really good late early mid conversion for them. Because what would end up happening a lot is between 10 and 20 minutes, the game stalled because there's only one dragon spawning in that time slot, and TSM are always contest it, but they don't fight for it. They're willing to contest for it, but they aren't willing to commit anyone's life for it substantially. I think a couple of times they actually did absolutely chuck themselves for it, but it was really even. It kind of looked like 100 Thieves had a lead going into it, but then somehow 100 Thieves just dropped Baron, and it's like, how do you keep dropping this Baron? Off rip, it's 1,500 gold. Including the tower pressure, it becomes like 3k gold. So from even, TSM garner a 3k gold lead. That's a lot of fucking gold, man. Let me tell you.
And also, just looking at the drafting standpoint from like game 1 and game 2, who are you going to have to actually clear out all these minion waves? Like, 100 Thieves doesn't really have first of all, taking the Lucian means that you basically forfeited your control mage, a lot of the wave clear that you'd normally get from them. So as soon as Baron goes down, your turrets are just going to drop left and right.
Their wave clear is Lilia Ball, Jace Q, and Ash W. And sometimes an Alistar.
That sounds kind of bad, though.
It is kind of bad. You're right, Matt. That is a very, very bad amount of wave clear. That's nothing like Orianna or Seraphine or Karma even.
Game 2, same deal.
Yeah.
I guess there's Tristana, but it's still...
So...
You're really lucky.
Here's the problem: is you're putting Ryoma on 80 carry mid laners. This is literally a salty run back, and TSM just do the exact same thing. We have swapped out Orianna for Syndra, but Lucian for Tristana. Other than that, it's the exact same compositions on both sides. I don't know how you can be 100 Thieves and think we can do this again after this game. But you know what? They decide to do it. They decide to try to do it again, but they change up 2 things. They get a mage in the mid lane, and they get a Udyr in the jungle, which is actually quite a lot of pressure. Like, that's so much more team fight and skirmish comp. And I think it's part of why they won this game, because they spec'd to meet TSM properly. Whereas the previous 2 games, they had spec'd to... I have no idea what they fucking spec'd for. They spec'd to have Ryoma be the most useless champion in the game, is what they spec'd for.
They're like, we will get our early game leads. And they did. And then they lost them. But game 3, I do like that draft a lot better because you have the Udyr who can just kind of run through people, not really die straight out with an Orianna ball on him. That's a lot better. You can also set it up following that up with either leading with the Leona ult or following with the Leona ult or just Leona combo altogether. It's a much better pieces of a team fight comp. You still have the Jace to be like that early game pressure straight into the Gnar, which is fine, but I like this comp a lot better.
I seriously question this Tristana lock-in. This Tristana ban in game 3. I don't know why you would ever ban Tristana on red side, or sorry, on blue side, because you can just first pick it, and it's like, it doesn't really matter that you lost with the last game. You proved you're willing to play at mid lane, which means it's a mild threat. Now, sure, the enemy might lock in Syndra, but then you do this. You bring it down one slot, and boom, now it's your AD carry. And it's like the best AD carry in the game. Instead, you got Ezreal, which worked. It was pretty good, but I still think Tristana is just a better champion overall.
I agree.
I in my notes I have TSM wins after they secure 2 Drakes. I don't think TSM secured 2 Drakes this game.
All right.
All right. So game 4, final game. Probably. Honestly, I really don't like this comp that much. It's just. Wait, hang on. Oh wait, was game 3 the fucking Fiesta? No, game 4 or game 2 is the fucking Fiesta. All right, so game 4, we see the Nocturne against Tristana. I love this. I actually fucking love this pick. It is the most toxic shit you have to deal with as a Tristana, but I feel like everyone who plays Tristana is so bad because they don't position for the Nocturnal to come in and then them to make space on it. They just sort of eat it and then die. I don't know, like I saw it in the EU games too. People are locking the shit in against Tristana, and I'm just like, okay, cool, she's gonna die. And then they stand there in the middle of fucking nowhere, eat 2 feet, and then the Nocturne just walks over or flash or stride breakers, and it's just, where were you gonna go? Stand next to a wall. Do something productive with this. Like there's no reason to just do nothing.
Well, the reason to do nothing is to lose the game faster.
Yeah.
Maybe. And then sometimes they build fucking Gale Force, and I'm just like, you're about to get dove by the goddamn shield bow. Like, come on. I don't like this. I absolutely hate this. What was it, game 2 when they built fucking Gale Force on Ashe? What lunatic is building Gale Force on Ashe? Like, why are they obsessed with this goddamn item? I get it. More dash, move fast. Like, what the? Too fucking bad, you're dead. It doesn't matter. Oh. I like Zyra Khan getting some play though.
Zyra Khan is it's a powerful bot lane. It still is.
Zy's a fun champion too.
Oh, they're okay. There are 2 instances this game where I watched a team fight and I'm just like, how the fuck does TSM win this? On what planet does TSM have any business winning this team fight? Like, and they did it twice, and I'm just like, what the fuck? They're just better. They're just built different. I love watching TSM team fight because it's just like for the first 3 seconds I'm like on the edge of my seat, and then 2 champions in the enemy team die, and I'm just like, oh, it's over. Okay.
It's a 2 carry comp for 100 Thieves. So if Nocturne gets one of them, you're all of a sudden lacking a ton of damage. If you get the Orianna, okay, they lose the team fight. If you get the Tristana, they lose all of their sustained damage, and most of there's not anyone really to follow up on that Orianna ult anymore. Maybe the Olaf, but it's like not really.
Well, I think you ideally, like, you put it on set and you combo set ult on top, ball into set E into set W, or you use Scion. But it's just, they have a lot of ways to get the Orianna ball in. But here's the problem, is if you go to try to put the Orianna ball in, and then Nocturne just says, the ball is no longer on Orianna, guess where I shall go? To Orianna. So now she pulls the ball back to her, or she doesn't have the E or the W, and she's just gonna die. So this Nocturne put so much pressure on 100 Thieves in team fights. It was insane. And then what they were trying to get off a lot is Nocturne ult into Nocturne teleport into Nocturne ult again, like the second cast. Which is like, I've thought of using it like that, but I've just never really thought it had the timing for it. And to me, I feel like they really missed a lot of that. TSM really, like, they should have just teleported Nocturne in and then turned off the lights. Though I guess the only reason why you would do that, like, you're trying to stop Sion from joining, is what I'm saying.
Yes.
So you do this to buy yourself like 4 seconds to get there before Sion and dive on somebody, but I just feel like it didn't matter. Sion was gonna be way late, so they fucked it up and weren't punished. Yeah. Let me see what my final notes are.
Also, TSM has a very hard comp to pin. Like, just Xayah Rakan is a hard bot lane to pin down in team fights in general. So even if you do pick like a run at them comp, like just Xayah Rakan can survive so much by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have that time where you're like, oh, they're running at us. Hey, Rakan, why don't you just go kill yourself by dashing through them with your ultimate real quick? And then maybe you might even get out too.
Yeah. I don't know. Azir's not too shabby at it either.
Yeah, Azir's got the wall. Though, was this the game where everybody... Yeah, this is the game where there's one fight and everybody chucks like their big skill shots at each other and they completely miss. Like, Azir goes to flash ult 2 people into his team. They both flash sideways. He misses that. Orianna misses ult on like 4 people. Or I don't remember. It was so bad. He missed and it was oh my god. And then Rakan misses a knock up on Tristana, but I don't blame him for that because Tristana like postured specifically to avoid it. Like, Tristana tried to outplay it. So I don't really blame people for when the other person makes the decision to dodge the thing. Like, people were giving FBI shit for his Ashe arrows and how many of them he chucked into Alistar. That's the point. He eats them.
Yeah.
What he's supposed to do.
It's never a fun time throwing that into an Alistar. Just end most CC's abilities.
All right. We got a small interim topic before we talk about our predictions for next week. This is a bit of a conversation that started up because the LCS aren't like heavily advertising the Proving Grounds tournament that's been happening the last 2 weeks, or we can now over these 2 weeks that we're currently in the middle of. Should the LCS Academy / development leagues focus on viewership? Because this is also spurred on by a comment on Hotline League where somebody said that they need to get more viewers to Academy if they want it to be successful. And most people, a lot of the people who like are into watching League of Legends seem to be on we need more people to watch this. But a lot of the people who are like into analyzing League of Legends as in the gameplay and say that the viewers don't matter for a development league. So how do we feel about this whole situation? What should be the focus of the Academy and development league? Should they really care about their viewership numbers, or should they be focusing on creating a better system overall, or can we do both somehow?
This is going to be on a complete tangential topic. This is going to be piggybacking off of like GBay99's argument that he made before, kind of for League of Legends. But like, the reason that I got kind of hyped for LCS Academy was that the fact that in the playoffs there were like so many storylines that were going on. Like, there was like Team Liquid Academy. You're like, oh, it's one of the like basically a B tier LCS team got upset by an Academy team, and I was all for that. Like, that was the thing that made me feel like, okay, this is something that I could get on board with.
If you want upsets, go watch Proving Grounds.
Go watch Proving Grounds.
It's so fucking crazy who's losing to who, and everybody's just like, oh, they've got veterans here. I'm just like, you idiot. Tuesday's been in the LCS for like years.
Yeah, but it's so much better when a no-name team beats an org.
It's hilarious, yeah.
It's so much better. Then people get interested in the orgs, and then they're like, oh, wait a minute, I remember this player from back in the day. Or like, oh, wait a minute, I've never seen this player before, but he played crazy. I feel like it's something that they can really work on. Like, so I think you should kind of focus on advertising a bit more, and it'll kind of write itself. I would love to see more of this.
Matt, how you feeling about Academy?
You don't give a fuck. I truly don't care. I feel like Proving Grounds probably doesn't need to be viewed more. I feel like the people who watch it are gonna watch it, and that, like, no matter what you do, like, you can maybe get a few more people, but like realistically, like, I think if you look at other sports, and obviously there aren't, like, because this isn't even like the draft, right? This is like watching the NFL Combine, bro. Like, I don't give a shit.
It's more like watching the
College
MLB
basketball?
or the minor leagues. It's like watching MLB minor leagues.
I mean, I honestly don't even think it is. Like, I feel like it's somewhere
Okay, it's not
between...
developed to that point, but that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, but it's not. And like right now, it literally just feels like I'm watching people run 40-yard dashes to try to make a team. And like, I don't care, bro. Like,
I'm
you
not
can tell me
asking
the
you- I'm not
stat
asking
when you
you to
make a
care.
team, but like, no, but that's what I mean. Like, I literally don't think at this point it is something people like. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think most people would be interested in watching the Combine. Only a very small section of NFL fans, right? And right now, given what the Proving Grounds is, not what it wants to be or was created to be, but given what it is, I think it's very unreasonable to expect more people to watch it, or even to try to get more people to watch it, unless you make like substantial changes to it. Because like right now, I literally don't care. Like, there's no reason for me to be like invested in it at all. Like, there's no reason for me to be invested. I'll know the players if they go pro, right? And that's
Or
when I'll learn
they
about
came
them.
from pro.
Yeah, but then I'll see them when they're back, or I won't, right? But like, there's no like, there doesn't, like, when I watch the LCS, there's a reason to watch it. There's set teams with like rivalries, with new players, with like, storylines or whatever the fuck. Like, what the fuck is there in Proving Grounds, dude? Like, there's nothing. And like, I don't think there needs to be anything, because it's not the kind of thing that everybody should like watch. It's just the kind of thing that people will watch if they are scouting for league teams, right? Like, that's all it is, man. Like, that's it.
I kind of agree. I don't think they should be focused on like pumping up the viewership numbers. It's nice if you at least address its existence and say, hey, here's the schedule of League of Legends esports for the next week, or at least the North American esports for the next week
Yeah,
on the LCS
put it on the
broadcast.
calendar. I don't give a fuck about that, but
They did it at the end of the LCS broadcast. I don't remember if they have or haven't been doing it at the end of all the other broadcasts. I just kept the broadcast on this week because I was just mindlessly doing something else while the post game was playing. So I caught it. I think they have been mentioning it at the end of the broadcast, but nobody's fucking watching the end of the broadcast. So I guess it doesn't matter. But some people were asking for like them to spend time on the pre-show, specifically talking about the Academy League, or integrating Academy into the LCS more. Two things. One, God, no, do not start talking about Academy on the fucking pre-show, for the love of God. Why would you ever suggest that? That's such a waste of time.
you want to know the one time I think it's okay? Is if a main roster player gets put to Academy for some reason, like an import slot changes up or something like that.
Maybe,
If
yeah.
that happens, talk about the Academy in relation to the change.
Yeah.
But this would feel to me like I was watching the NBA championship, or like the playoff tournament, and then all of a sudden they started talking about the G League while like a game was about to start. And I'm like, I don't fucking care, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally not why I'm here. Like,
if they had some, like, if it was being integrated differently, like, if the countdown had the first half hour was for Proving Grounds, and for some reason Proving Grounds is running at the same time as LCS, which is like the dumbest decision to ever make. Then you could do that, but in general, I wouldn't ever bother to do it like that. I would look. I'm fine with there being like splash screens on the commercial timer thing. I'm fine with them giving little asides like, hey, don't forget to watch this week. But like actually,
yeah, dude, plug your own show. But like,
actively integrating Academy coverage into LCS coverage in that way, when it's like not a show dedicated to covering the entirety of NA or like that whole progression and what's happening there. Like it just seems like a lot of wasted time. People already don't like watching the countdown, and they find a lot of the parts to be boring. And they come up with the dumbest shit to criticize it with because it's hilarious. Like, you need ex-pros and coaches. They have ex-pros and coaches. I can't help you.
Alarim's a frequent returnee there.
He's a current pro.
Like
he's playing in Proven Grounds. Also, yes, I love Alarim, but
I do.
What I think Academy really needs to focus on is like making its system better. Like, look, nobody wants to watch a broken machine or a broken car play race in NASCAR. Nobody gives a fuck. If you're trying to fix your car, who cares? You're not in the lead. You're not running these laps and lapping people. Like, no, who gives a fuck? They want to watch the what's actually working right now. And to me, Academy is absolutely fucked, and I just don't care until the system actually works. And that, like, honestly, that's the biggest reason why I don't watch Academy, is because I know it's just like these players are kind of screwed here. The amount of players that are going to get put up into LCS is so low. It's not like I can sit here and start thinking about, okay, these 5 guys, you could put them together and probably make a pretty good team for the LCS right now, and that might happen next split. That might happen. That's just never happening here. That's never going to fucking happen. Oh, now that's also a symptom of there only being 10 goddamn teams in the LCS, and I will always advocate for putting more teams in the LCS.
Yeah.
Fucking 80% of the league makes playoffs.
I think wider competition would help a lot.
Yeah, like it opens up more slots in general. So yeah, I think our general consensus is that focusing on viewership is not what a development league should really do. It should focus on development primarily, but cross-pollination through the streams isn't a bad thing, but focused focused collaborations at inappropriate times would probably not be great. You know what? I probably wouldn't care if they put it in the post show. Like especially if it's like, this is happening tomorrow, and we're a League of Legends show, so let's talk about it. Like, I don't think I'd mind if it was in a post show.
I feel like if they were to put it, like, the dive, right? That's the League of Legends podcast. If they put it in like a bit at the end there.
Okay. The reason why I don't think it would be good at the dive is because I know for a goddamn fact that most of them don't really watch the Academy games.
Oh yeah, that is a fair point. A separate podcast.
like look, if you want to go on Hotline League and try to spit some shit about I don't fucking know, with TSM Academy losing to a random ass group of solo queue players that they just lost to, go ahead, because like, Jesus fucking Christ, Haunter, how can you not carry those morons? And Cody's son, like, what the hell? All right. Now we got the finals coming up this weekend. I got our picks on screen now. Matt and Haymont got no faith in the boys. I gotta say, I am very, very disappointed in your lack of faith. But Haymont seems to think that Cloud9 are going to 3-0 Team Liquid. Now Haymont, walk me through your weekend. Start with Team Liquid and tell me how this weekend's gonna go and why.
So first of all, we'll start from the draft. Has been a major point across the entire series. We do need them to clean up their drafts and how they do their picks, the actual champions that they're picking. If you ban out 2 priority junglers. Okay, take another priority jungler. If you ban out like 3 AD carries, take a priority AD carry afterwards. Like, just, do that on blue side. Don't pick Ari.
Don't pick
That's an easy
Ari.
that's an easy throwback. Or if, I don't know, you just need to work better on your actual drafting there. If you can get a solid draft, a team comp that's cohesive, that there's a clear game plan for, I feel like this team would be able to execute very well with it. If you gave tactical Sivir, I feel like the Sivir pick's nice. Like, you can mix that into it. Just get a cohesive draft first. Like Sivir, Hecarim.
Wait. Hang on. Who do you want to pick Sivir? You want TL to pick Sivir?
Fine with tactical on Sivir. Just pick it into like a comp that it makes sense into. Like Sivir, Hecarim, probably someone who wants to get onto the back line somehow, maybe a Gnar. I feel like that would be fine.
All right.
Just, just like, don't pick bits and pieces. Just pick an entire draft. That's kind of cohesive. And you should...
Did you address their match against Cloud9? I kind of spaced out looking for something there.
It was more so their drafting phase that I addressed.
All right, but you think they're gonna get 3-0'd by C9? Do you think there's just no way that they can beat C9 at all? Like, they're not even gonna take a game off, according to you.
What I think is that C9 have the better cohesiveness just between all of their teammates. They have a better idea of how to execute on the drafts that they're given. I'm not necessarily sure if that's the coaching staff that's doing their job, or if it's the players doing their jobs, or if they're both of them working together, coming up with a game plan. But it seems like C9 can come up with a clear game plan and know what they're supposed to do at different points in the game, and keep on doing what they're supposed to do at different points during the game. And I don't think TL can necessarily do that. I think that they're getting a bit too confused by their drafting. They're not necessarily sure how their comp's supposed to act. Even if you do match them, even if they do come up with that cohesive comp, I think C9 understands how they play better.
Yeah.
How they themselves individually play better.
All right, Matt, walk me through your weekend with TL going 3-2 against TSM, and then C9 winning 3-2.
I think TL's a little
TL.
bit of a better team than TSM overall. But I think it's very close, obviously. I wouldn't be shocked if TSM won. I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. But either way, I think C9 edges out both those teams in a bow 5. Easy game.
Okay. Now,
I mean, I don't have much to say, right? Like, he wants it a bunch, but like, which is fair. But like, I think that TL is just. I think they just have a slightly stronger team in terms of players.
So I'm really feeling it. I think TSM are in the middle of a pretty big ramp up. Looking at look, this isn't the cleanest weekend out of TSM, but I think they kind of found an identity of being this team fighting, late game objective, late game, I don't know, just late game macro controlling team composition. And I don't think either of these two teams play split push especially well. I think C9 is the most likely candidate to do that. And that's kind of why I gave him the 2 games, because I think it could take, like, TSM's got to identify what C9 has that will counter their team fighting style, and just and learn to take that out. If they can't learn to take that out, I don't think they're going to win this series, but I think they will. I've been liking Bjergsen's drafting growth. He's like, looking at where he started in what the hell was that starting tournament called? Whatever that thing was called. When he started there, I was just like, what the hell is the lock-in tournament? He was just like, what the hell is he doing? And now I'm really liking how he's playing it. I think he understands what his players are good at. I don't think TSM get Gnar anymore ever again. So we
Well, TL probably doesn't either, right? Like Alfari also
Yeah,
has
I'm
like
pretty
100% win rate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Gnar's 100% banned in this series, in both these series. I'm actually, I don't know, because I have zero faith in Fudge being able to play anything besides a tank. I feel like TSM, like everybody memes on that one player on those teams. Like you got Fudge on C9, you got Tactical on TL, you got Ryoma on 100 Thieves, and sometimes sometimes everyone else. But TSM doesn't have that player. TSM have a lot more cohesion and a lot more consistency in their roster. Like I guess what?
But you're gonna blatantly say that with Huni in the top lane.
Bro, have you been watching Huni this split? Huni's been a rock. That man's been doing great shit.
Huni's also picked AP Gragas.
I don't want to talk about it. That wasn't his fault. I blame Bjergsen.
Tell me about your TSM 9 though.
My what?
TSM versus C9.
You're not interested in the 3-0?
No, I don't give a shit. This is some shit you always do.
All right.
I mean, like, go on a little bit, but...
All right, so I think TSM just match up really, really well into TL, and I feel like TL just probably had a pretty big mental boom after that last series. It looked like they really just couldn't do anything. I'm expecting Tactical to play down. I'm expecting Jensen to play down. Santorin is probably the most steady player on their roster, and Alfari, I haven't seen enough of him to make a judgment, but I definitely think Huni can keep up with Alfari pretty easily. Alfari himself has said he thinks Huni is the second best top laner in the league, so you know. Also, Core JJ hasn't been standing out to me in playoffs that much. We have seen these guys go up against each other, and the last time TSM played the people who knocked them out, they viciously assaulted them. It was a grand old fucking time. I didn't need any Pepto whatsoever. So yeah, I think TSM just have a good matchup and a good identity at the moment, and barring anything drastic, I don't think that's going to change. Now, going into C9, like I said, I think they're the ones who can counter TSM's current identity, and I still feel like TSM can exploit the top side of the map enough and go even or even better on the other two lanes. I'm expecting Perks to continue to look, even in this series, I haven't felt like Perks was the all-star player. I felt like what they were really playing through was just more general team sense, and nobody was able to punish Fudge like they have been. But I think if C9 walk in putting Fudge on tanks instantly, I'm gonna be a little more scared. But if they walk in trying to play some stuff for Fudge, I'm gonna be a lot more happy, because that's exactly how I want to take this team down, is by them over-indexing into giving Fudge resources and then losing because they tried to give Fudge resources.
I think C9 is probably gonna win just because of how good their game sense is. I think that all right, TSM, all right, they've beaten all their teams that they faced back to back, right? I think C9's the one team where you can't really pin a style to them. That's the one problem, where they can play multiple styles and it will work out great because they think they understand how they're going to play out the game. And I think that's, if you're putting a TSM against 100 Thieves have a clear way that they want to play the game. If you put TSM against TL doesn't really know how they want to play the game. I think C9's different.
All right. I think that'll do it okay. One small thing. I did go watch that Papa Smithy video, and he where he talked about the Monte and Ryoma. He skirts that question so goddamn hard. He basically said,
he, dude? Of course he's gonna skirt.
He basically said that they don't want to. They've made the decision. It did actually start out as a trial, and they even if they're not winning now, they don't want to make the change because they think it will. Because he thinks it would be too drastic to the team dynamic. But let's see how he feels about that after the elimination.
what was it? I think he also said he didn't want to say whether it was like, okay, this player's doing too well or this player's doing badly here, so we wanted to try out this one. I think he tried to avoid saying too much about Demonte and Ryoma.
Yeah,
I think that was
individually.
the point that he made.
And I can understand why he'd want to do that, but at the same time, I would have been so much more satisfied by him being like, no, we just think Ryoma is better because of our scrim results. And I would have been like, all right, fair enough, but I still think you're crazy.
Yeah, it would have given us a much more like clear-cut answer, and definitely something Reddit could have been like, all right, yeah,
It's
this
like
is why.
that's his response, and that's what we're going with, I guess.
And then they probably would have taken it and been like, but what do you mean Demonte's just better? These scrim results don't matter on the stage. I can already figure out something that Reddit's kind of going with.
Yeah. But that happens every single time that a person has ever been swapped and the team has said that they're better. Like I don't feel like it's new ground here that we have to be going over, because he just tried to be diplomatic about it, and I'm not receptive to someone being diplomatic about something. Tell me why you made this decision explicitly. Was it Ryoma has a better champion pool? Was it he actually just plays better? Like I want an explicit reason instead of like we're just going by our scrim results.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, I am out of topics.
Would you like to take us home?
Yeah, I think that'll do it for us this week on Legendary Leland's Podcast. You can catch us Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Nizzy2K11. You can catch the VODs on the YouTube channel Legendary Podcast. You can catch the audio podcast version anywhere you get your podcasts. And have a nice day.
All right.